There's a kind of man a woman can't stop thinking about. Not because he's perfect, not because he's handsome, but because of how she felt when she was around him. That feeling is hard to describe. It's a mix of peace and tension, mystery and safety. He's the man who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't try to impress. Instead, his presence alone does the work. He moves with purpose, speaks with patience, and listens like he already knows the truth. And without realizing it, he gives her something no one else has ever given: emotional gravity. Most men think attraction is about saying the right words, having the right body, or doing the right things. But none of that lasts. Words fade, looks blur, actions get forgotten. What doesn't fade is how she felt in your presence. A woman may not remember the details of your conversations, but she will always remember the tone of your energy. How calm you were when she expected chaos. How steady you were when she tested you. How peaceful you remained when she tried to provoke emotion. That contrast creates a psychological mark she can't erase. You see, women live through emotion. They're constantly navigating feelings: excitement, anxiety, curiosity, passion. But when she meets a man who brings her a new emotional experience, a stillness that makes her feel both safe and drawn in, her brain can't forget it. It's rare, it's valuable, it's addictive. That's the power of presence. When your energy says, "I don't need you, but I enjoy your company," it shifts the dynamic completely. Suddenly she's not evaluating you. She's reacting to you. This is the secret most men never learn. You don't win a woman through pursuit, you win her through emotional contrast. Every man can make her feel wanted, but few can make her feel captivated. When your silence feels confident instead of cold, when your gaze feels calm instead of needy, when your detachment feels intentional instead of indifferent, you become unforgettable. Because you're not fighting for space in her life, you're creating space in her mind. So in this video, we'll uncover what that feeling really is, the deep, unspoken emotion that makes a woman attach herself to your presence long after you're gone. We'll break down the psychological triggers, the energy shifts, and the subtle behaviors that leave an imprint no woman can shake off. Because once you understand how to give her this feeling, you'll never need to prove your worth again. She'll feel it, she'll remember it, and she'll never forget you. Before we get into the video, I've got something important to share. My complete dating course is now available. If you've been gaining value from my YouTube content, you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. This course dives much deeper, giving you a step-by-step guide to approaching, attracting, and connecting with women the right way. We've just unlocked Section 5, and the insights there aren't anywhere on this channel. It's quick to join, secure to access, and built to upgrade your dating life. Go to thestoiccouple.podia.com or click the link below to enroll now. Let's dive in. Number 1. Why presence is more powerful than words. You can talk for hours, impress her with stories, make her laugh, and say all the right things. But if your energy doesn't carry weight, she'll forget every word the next day. That's because attraction isn't logical. It's emotional memory. The female mind doesn't fall in love with language. It falls in love with how your presence makes her feel. And that's why the most powerful men in a woman's life are rarely the ones who spoke the most. They're the ones who said the least but felt the most real. When you're truly present, you give off something words can't imitate, a quiet certainty. It's not about arrogance or coldness. It's about being so comfortable in yourself that you don't need to fill every silence. That calm becomes magnetic. She senses it. Her subconscious starts asking questions. Why isn't he rushing to please me? Why doesn't he seek approval like the others? What is he hiding behind that quiet confidence? Those questions create emotional movement inside her, curiosity, fascination, and even a bit of anxiety. And that combination is the foundation of deep attraction. Most men think the key to connection is attention. They overtext, overexplain, overshare, trying to build closeness through effort. But true connection doesn't come from doing more. It comes from being more. A man grounded in his purpose, centered in his energy, makes her feel something that can't be replicated. Peace. And that peace feels like gravity. It draws her closer even when he says nothing. Because silence from a confident man doesn't feel like absence. It feels like presence. A woman's emotional brain seeks polarity. She's drawn to a man who feels emotionally different from her world. The calmer you are, the more she feels. The more grounded you stay, the more she reacts. It's not manipulation, it's chemistry. She can sense the emotional control in your energy, and it makes her feel safe yet intrigued. You're not mirroring her energy, you're stabilizing it. And that's rare. Most men get pulled into her emotions like a current. The Stoic man anchors her instead. That's why presence creates emotional imprint. Because when she looks back, she won't remember your words. She'll remember how your eyes stayed calm when she tried to provoke you, how your energy stayed light when she overreacted, how your silence carried more confidence than her loudest emotions. That contrast burns into her subconscious. It tells her, this man doesn't need control. He is control. When you master presence, you become unforgettable without effort. You don't need to remind her who you are. Her emotions do that for you. You become a calm space in a world that constantly overstimulates her. And once she's felt that, once she's experienced a man who doesn't drown in her waves but instead becomes the shore she crashes against, she'll never forget it. Because true attraction isn't about impact, it's about imprint. Number 2. Why calm energy triggers female desire. Attraction thrives on polarity. The emotional tension between two energies that complete but never mirror each other. Feminine energy is fluid, emotional, expressive. It seeks movement, connection, and feeling. Masculine energy, when it's grounded, is still, directional, and calm. When these two meet, something magnetic happens. Her emotion flows toward his stability. His stillness gives her chaos a place to rest. It's not logic that binds them, it's biology. She doesn't consciously think, he's calm, so I'm attracted. She simply feels it. Because deep inside, her feminine energy is wired to respond to the masculine presence that can absorb her emotion without being consumed by it. Most men don't understand this dynamic. They think intensity equals attraction. They try to match her energy. Talk fast, react fast, joke fast, feel fast. But when both people bring emotional speed to the interaction, the polarity collapses. The energy becomes chaotic. What she actually wants, though she may never say it, is a man who doesn't mirror her energy, but balances it. The one who, when she storms emotionally, doesn't panic or retreat. He just breathes, listens, and stays still. That calm becomes irresistible because it gives her permission to be fully feminine, expressive, emotional, vulnerable, without feeling judged or unsafe. This is the paradox. A man's calm is not boring, it's intoxicating. It communicates that his peace is more important than her approval, and that's the foundation of respect. When your energy says, I'm unshaken by your mood, you give her something she can't get anywhere else, stability. And stability, in the modern world of emotional chaos, feels like power. It makes her heart race, not because you're loud, but because you're still. When a woman feels this energy, she begins to associate your presence with relief. She can be herself without filtering emotion. Your calm becomes her sanctuary. She'll start missing you, not because you entertain her, but because her nervous system feels safer around you. That's attraction at a primal level. Not mental, but physiological. Her body relaxes around your certainty. Her voice softens, her guard lowers, her tone changes. Because when she feels your peace, she doesn't just want you. She trusts you. The Stoic man doesn't perform calmness, he embodies it. His peace is not fake patience, it's real power. It's not passive silence, it's active control. He doesn't seek validation through emotion, he offers stability through presence. He knows that the more she feels, the less he needs to react. That's how polarity grows. Her energy expands, his anchors. And together, that creates desire that doesn't fade after the thrill. It deepens, because every time she meets a man who panics, she'll remember the one who didn't. Every time she meets a man who reacts, she'll remember the one who remained calm. And in that quiet remembrance, the attraction grows stronger, even in your absence. That's the power of polarity, when your peace becomes her craving. Number 3, how women feel what you feel. Most men think women fall for what they see, but in truth, women fall for what they feel. And more often than not, what they feel isn't coming from them. It's coming from you. The female emotional system is like a mirror. It reflects your energy, amplifies it, and turns it into feeling. If you're anxious, she senses it before you speak. If you're needy, she feels it before you text. But if you're calm, composed, and grounded, she relaxes into that frequency. She may not understand why she feels drawn to you. She just knows that your presence makes her body exhale. That's emotional leadership. And it's what separates men who chase from men who attract. This is why energy always speaks louder than words. You can say, "I'm fine." But if your body language says otherwise, if your breathing is shallow, if your eyes dart for approval, if your tone wavers, her subconscious picks it up instantly. She's not decoding your sentences, she's scanning your state. And once she senses unease, she mirrors it back. Suddenly she's short with you, distant or defensive, not because of what you said, but because she's reflecting your internal chaos. That's the moment most men fail the test. They think she's the problem, so they try to fix her, prove themselves, or explain endlessly. But the truth is brutal. She's just mirroring the emotional signal you sent out. The Stoic man knows this. He doesn't try to control her emotions. He masters his own. He understands that his state dictates the tone of every interaction. When he's at peace, the room feels it. When he's grounded, she instinctively feels safe. When he speaks slowly, with certainty, her voice softens to match. His composure doesn't just influence her, it calibrates her. That's why a man's inner calm is the highest form of attractiveness. It's not his words that seduce her, it's the feeling she gets when he's near. And here's the paradox. The more you try to make her feel something, the less she feels it. But the more you embody that emotion, the more contagious it becomes. You don't make her feel calm by telling her to relax. You make her feel calm by being relaxed. You don't make her feel safe by promising loyalty. You make her feel safe by staying emotionally stable when she tests your patience. You don't make her feel attraction by acting confident. You make her feel it by actually being confident in silence. A woman's emotions are sensitive instruments. They respond to vibration, not vocabulary. When your energy is inconsistent, she senses instability. But when it's steady, quiet, self-assured, peaceful, she begins to trust it. That trust transforms into desire, and that desire becomes attachment. Because what she really wants isn't a man who controls her emotions. It's a man whose emotional control allows her to let go of hers. The Stoic man understands that real attraction is silent transmission, what she feels when he says nothing. And that's why, when you master your inner state, you stop chasing emotional responses and start creating them. Number 4. Why peace creates obsession. Attraction begins with excitement, but obsession begins with peace. The kind of peace that quiets her overthinking, silences her fears, and makes her feel seen without judgment. When a woman meets a man who brings that energy, it changes her entire nervous system. She may not understand it consciously, but her body reacts instantly. Her guard lowers, her voice softens, her laughter becomes lighter. For the first time, she feels like she doesn't need to perform to be accepted. That's the moment the emotional hook sets in. Because while excitement fades, peace becomes addictive. You see, most men make the mistake of trying to impress a woman, to entertain, to flatter, to fill every silence. But those things only activate her mind, not her emotions. What truly captivates her is when your energy gives her relief. When your calm tells her, you don't need to try so hard here. That's when her feminine energy relaxes. And that relaxation feels like freedom. She begins to crave your presence, not because you're exciting, but because you make her feel safe enough to be herself. And that is a feeling she'll chase for years. In a world full of noise, the man who is silent becomes magnetic. His stillness becomes a form of power. While other men compete for her attention, his peace commands it effortlessly. She begins to notice that when he's around, everything feels balanced. Her emotions, her thoughts, even her heartbeat. And when he's gone, the world feels too loud again. That contrast imprints him into her subconscious. She doesn't just miss him, she misses the feeling of herself she experienced when she was with him. That's how peace turns into obsession. The Stoic man doesn't create this peace through manipulation or performance. He creates it through inner order. He's disciplined, not detached. He listens more than he speaks. He knows that real confidence isn't in how much attention he gets. It's in how little attention he needs. His calm doesn't come from arrogance, but from alignment. He knows his purpose, his pace, and his boundaries. That internal structure gives her emotional freedom. She senses that he won't lose himself for her, and ironically, that makes her want him even more. Because what truly pulls a woman in is emotional safety, the kind that's not given through words, but through consistency. When your energy remains the same, even when she tests you, argues with you, or withdraws, that's when her respect starts to deepen. Her attraction shifts from physical to emotional. She begins to trust your strength more than she fears your distance, and that trust becomes fascination. The man who gives her peace doesn't need to chase her. She chases the calm she feels only when he's near. That's why peace is the highest form of dominance. It's quiet, unshakable, and unforgettable. And once she's felt it, no amount of chaos from anyone else can compete. Because true obsession doesn't come from excitement, it comes from the safety she can't find anywhere else. Number 5. Why holding back makes her chase. A woman will always be more intrigued by the man she cannot fully figure out. It's not about playing games. It's about maintaining mystery through restraint. When you give too much too soon, your time, your words, your emotions, you remove the unknown, and what's fully known stops feeling alive. Women aren't attracted to chaos, they're attracted to curiosity. They're drawn to the man whose presence leaves a question mark in their minds. What is he thinking? Why doesn't he react like others? Why does his silence feel louder than their attention? That wondering builds emotional tension, and emotional tension is the oxygen of attraction. Most men confuse openness with connection. They think the more they share, the closer she'll feel. But closeness built too fast loses its flavor. Attraction is not about availability. It's about access. The Stoic man understands this difference. He doesn't hide, but he doesn't rush to be understood. He reveals himself slowly, intentionally, like a book you can't stop reading but never finish in one sitting. Each interaction feels like a chapter, satisfying, but leaving her hungry for more. That's restraint, and restraint creates emotional gravity. Restraint doesn't mean indifference. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about having the strength to not overgive, to leave space between moments so desire can breathe. Think of attraction like music. Without pauses between notes, the melody becomes noise. Without silence, there's no suspense. When you speak less, move slower, and express emotion only when it's real. Every word, every gesture, every glance gains power. She starts to notice your pauses. She reads into your silences. She begins to feel what you're not saying. And that subtle tension pulls her deeper than any romantic speech ever could. The truth is, restraint communicates abundance. It signals to her subconscious that your emotions, your attention, your time are valuable. You're not holding back to punish. You're holding back because you understand the value of what you offer. You're not afraid of losing her because you're not seeking her validation to begin with. That quiet confidence challenges her. It forces her to earn your focus. And when she does, it means something. That's what keeps her hooked. The realization that not every moment with you is guaranteed. A man without restraint gives away his mystery. He becomes predictable, and predictability breeds indifference. But the man who moves with calm selectivity, who listens more than he speaks, who doesn't chase closure or approval, he becomes unforgettable. His energy lingers in her thoughts, even in silence, because every interaction feels intentional. Every glance feels charged. Every conversation feels like it could mean something more. Restraint makes your presence heavy, not in weight, but in meaning. It tells her, you're not like the others. You don't rush, you don't chase, you don't prove. You simply are. And that stillness becomes magnetic, because in a world full of men trying to impress her, the man who holds back becomes the one she can't stop thinking about. Number 6, how to make her feel you, even when you're gone. There's a reason some men fade from memory while others linger like echoes long after they're gone. It's not the gifts, the compliments, or even the time they spent together. It's the emotion they left behind. A woman may forget what you said, but she will never forget how her body felt in your presence. That's the essence of the emotional imprint. It's invisible, but powerful. It's what makes her scroll through old messages, replay moments in her mind, and compare every new man to you. Once a man imprints a woman emotionally, his absence becomes louder than his presence ever was. But that imprint doesn't come from chasing or performing. It comes from emotional contrast. The Stoic man knows this. He doesn't try to impress. He creates an experience. When he's around her, his calm energy disarms her defenses. His confidence gives her peace. His silence holds more power than flattery. And that rare combination of composure and depth touches something ancient in her psyche. The longing for a man whose energy she can trust. When he leaves, the stillness he carried lingers like a fragrance. The world feels noisier without him. That gap between what she felt and what she now feels becomes obsession. Most men try to stay unforgettable by staying in contact, texting, calling, reminding. But the ones who truly leave a mark don't need to remind. Their impact lives in her nervous system. She remembers the way his eyes didn't flinch when she tried to test him, the way his energy stayed grounded when she tried to provoke a reaction, the way his silence made her feel seen without needing words. That's not infatuation, that's psychological anchoring. Her body associates peace with his presence, and in his absence, it craves that feeling. That's why she keeps thinking about him. She's not missing the man, she's missing the emotion he represented. This is why detachment isn't about walking away coldly, it's about walking away with completeness. The Stoic man doesn't storm out, doesn't beg, doesn't announce his worth. He simply exits with grace, leaving his calm behind like a fingerprint on her soul. His energy doesn't scream, "I'm done." It whispers, "You'll remember me." And she does, not because he manipulated her, but because he gave her something rare, emotional balance wrapped in masculine stillness. The real secret of unforgettable men is that they don't try to be unforgettable. They simply are. Their actions, words, and presence align. They bring depth where others bring drama, calm where others bring chaos. And that equilibrium is so rare in the modern world that once a woman feels it, she spends months, even years, looking for it again, often without realizing it. Because what a woman misses most after you're gone isn't your face, your voice, or your touch. It's the peace you carried. It's the feeling of being safe in your silence. And that's why when you master presence, you never have to chase. She'll chase the memory of you. Number 7. How distance deepens desire. Absence has a power that presence never will. Most men fear it. They rush to fill silence, to fix distance, to chase validation before it slips away. But the Stoic man knows that distance is not the death of connection. It's the test of it. Because when you pull away, you give her something no words can deliver. Space to feel the weight of your energy. Your silence becomes a mirror that forces her to confront her emotions. She starts replaying moments, wondering why you don't reach out, what you're thinking, and what she meant to you. And in that wondering, desire begins to build again. Not from closeness, but from contrast. You see, attraction thrives in tension. It needs room to breathe. When you're always available, her emotions flatten. When you disappear completely, they disconnect. But when you master strategic absence, the kind that's calm, composed, and purposeful, you reintroduce polarity. You remind her what life feels like without your grounding presence. And that absence becomes louder than any words you could ever speak. She begins to miss your peace, not because you vanished, but because your silence feels like a message. It says, "I don't chase what doesn't value me." And that quiet strength stirs something powerful inside her. The Stoic man understands that absence is not withdrawal, it's amplification. His presence echoes in the spaces he leaves behind. His silence becomes energy that vibrates in her thoughts. She starts imagining what he's doing, who he's with, whether he still thinks about her. That mental movie, the uncertainty, the curiosity, the regret, becomes emotional gravity. The same distance she once caused now becomes the very thing that draws her back. Because absence turns memory into desire. Most men lose power when they walk away because they leave with anger, bitterness, or ego. But the man who leaves with calmness leaves differently. His energy remains pure, collected, unbothered. He doesn't announce his detachment, he embodies it. He lets his stillness do the talking, and that's what drives her mind wild. Not revenge, but restraint. Because nothing haunts a woman more than a man who walked away peacefully, as if his heart was already whole. That composure tells her everything, that his happiness was never dependent on her. In psychology, we call this the resonance effect. It's when your absence creates emotional vibration. A memory that keeps replaying because the brain is trying to close an emotional loop. Every time she tries to move on, your calmness reappears in contrast to the chaos she finds elsewhere. No drama, no reaction, no closure, just quiet strength. That's what she misses. That's what makes her wonder if she ever really knew your worth. And that's the paradox. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. When you stop explaining, you start intriguing. And when you step back in peace, you pull her forward in curiosity. Because absence, when mastered, doesn't end attraction. It intensifies it. The Stoic man's silence is not empty. It's full of power. His distance is not punishment. It's proof of value. And when she finally realizes that your absence speaks louder than her attention ever did, she'll understand what she lost. Not a man, but an energy she'll never replace. At the end of it all, it's not your looks, your words, or your gestures that stay with her. It's the feeling, the one she can't name but can't escape. The feeling of calm in your silence, the security in your gaze, the steadiness in your voice when she tried to shake you, the strange peace she felt when she was with you, and the emptiness she felt when you were gone. That's what lingers. Because when a woman feels that rare combination of presence and peace, it imprints her deeply, not in her mind, but in her nervous system. You didn't just date her, you reprogrammed her idea of what a man can be. You see, the truth about attraction isn't about tricks or tactics. It's about energy. The reason she'll never forget you isn't because you were loud, confident, or demanding attention. It's because you were still. Still in your actions, still in your emotions, still in your purpose. You didn't fight for control, you became control. You didn't beg to be understood, you let silence speak for you. In a world full of men trying to be noticed, your peace became impossible to ignore. You didn't chase her love, you earned her memory. The Stoic man leaves an imprint not through effort, but through essence. He doesn't perform masculinity, he embodies it. His energy says, I am enough as I am. That simple truth disarms her. It exposes her to a feeling she can't find elsewhere. The experience of being around a man who doesn't need validation to feel valuable. She may walk away, explore other options, chase excitement, but she'll always return. If not physically, then mentally. Because once a woman feels genuine emotional safety, her mind can't forget it. Her heart will look for it in every man after you, and never quite find it the same way again. That's the legacy of emotional mastery. It's not about making her regret losing you. It's about making her remember who she was when she was with you. The calm, the warmth, the balance. You gave her something priceless, peace. And peace, once felt, becomes the new standard. This is what the Stoic couple stands for. Not manipulation, but mastery. Not control over her, but control over yourself. Because when your emotions no longer own you, you become unforgettable. The man who can love without losing himself, detach without bitterness, and stay calm in chaos, that man doesn't just attract, he transforms. So, remember this truth. The most powerful men aren't the ones women desire instantly. They're the ones women can't forget quietly. The men who leave not a wound, but an echo. The men whose absence hums louder than other men's presence. The ones who make her realize, too late, that peace was passion in disguise. That is the feeling she'll never forget. That is the legacy of a Stoic man. Because when your presence gives her peace, your absence becomes unforgettable. If you're ready to take your dating life to the next level, my full online course is waiting for you. It's packed with powerful strategies you won't find on YouTube, and it's available in English and Spanish. Click the link in the description and start mastering the game today. See you in the next video.